Okay. Continue. Stolen turnabout. Still technically only case 2. Went out for a walk yesterday with James. Wore the shorts as it was nice today. And now I have 2 itchy bites on your leg. Ooh, itchy bites. Yeah. They're the worst kind. So apparently... Oh yeah, that's right. We also got a message from Mia. And it wasn't done through her spirit channeling. But maybe Ace is also a Skywalker. Oh. No, probably not though. Probably not. But, you know, we can live in hope. You have a cream for it, luckily, but oh, yeah. Okay, so, my sis. I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice. So then, she's still alive. Inside your heart. Oh. Nicky boy! Oh, Miss Delight. Is it true that detective is the real killer? To be honest, we don't have any definitive proof. But he's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at Lordly Taylor that night? Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Atmay want to kill Cain Bullard? I wonder if maybe Atmay figured out that Ron, because he knew about Ron in a sense, kind of. And, you know, Cain Bullard, the victim, the guy, the CEO of KB Security, I wonder if he found out they were doing this together. Maybe he found out that it was Ron because he was already tracking down Cain Bullard as the fence, the guy who was selling the stolen goods, and then found out about the blackmail, that Ron was being blackmailed to do this. And maybe he went there to confront them that night. I don't know. And it all went wrong? Perhaps. We'll find out. Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. We literally just stepped out. I need to find some solid proof. It's gotta happen sooner rather than later. October 14th, 12:21 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 6. We need that, like the ticking noise thing, the weird ticking noise from 24. I need that. I need to get that on my sound deck for things like that. You know, that like heartbeat combined with a digital clock ticking over the seconds kind of sound. Now then, this court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atmay, please take the stand. No, put it down. I didn't mean take it. Stand at it, thank you. Well, well. How do you do, sir, lawyer? Could we please confiscate the monocle / magnifying glass thing? It's getting creepy. Like the fucking Eye of Sauron. I would never have thought to see you acting so recklessly. I couldn't let them hand down a verdict just yet. Not when it would have given you your perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Master Damask. I'm sorry, I'm afraid even the great Luke Atmay has no idea what you mean. Of course, I have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could know what's been going on in here. You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Master Damask, indeed. It's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example. Okay, so you continue to insist that you are in fact Master Damask. That definitely... What I said about this blackmail letter and what we know about what Cain Bullard was doing, he was giving Ron money. Where was it? Was it in the records somewhere? It was in the testimony there, wasn't it? and Kane's list at the scene of the crime. This is what he was selling the stuff for. But it's way below what they were worth. But we know that Ron, when he stole the Tear of Emanon, he got 10 grand for it, so he gave him 10% of this figure. I bet that, and we don't know what he got for the Crown of Bongora, but I expect he probably got 15 grand for it. Now, the last one, the portrait, is what Luke Atmay returned after he recovered it. 10% of that is 50 grand. Now this means if it got returned, it means that Kane Bullard never got a chance to sell it. In the blackmail letter from Kane Bullard to Ron, he tells him to bring 50 grand. Right? It's like he's saying, okay, you would have got 50 grand, but now you owe me 50 grand instead because you didn't deliver the goods. And then it says, if you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. So either Kane Bullard thought Ron got the red diamond because he knows that the painting was recovered and returned, and he thinks Ron took a diamond instead as payment, or this was sent to Luke Atmay instead. Erikai, hello! You're here and need to step out for a bit to check out Minecraft Dungeons. Yes, that's out, isn't it? That looks pretty interesting. Your brain, yeah, I know, right? It's like, oh, we're having big brain moments early here. This is not good. We're going to be dead by the end of the stream. I'm using all my energy up now. So, this could have been sent to Luke Atmay instead. If you don't want your true identity revealed to the world, come to KB Security and bring 50 grand. And maybe Luke Atmay sent it to Ron. I don't know. So why would he send a letter to Luke Atmay saying your true identity? True identity is what? I don't know. It seems really weird. Gina and I are out in the back garden with the parasol up. Nice. What a way to do it. Good way to enjoy a stream. Hope you're both having a good day. So anyway, but it's so weird. It's that 50 grand and the fact that that's 10... Yeah. And he's just literally now linked that red ring there, the diamond, as being the one referenced in the blackmail letter. It's all stringing together. We just don't know what it looks like yet. Of course. Very well then, Luke Atmay, let us begin with this simple question. On October 12th, 1 AM, Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time? One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge. Thanks. Oh, there's the coffee. Oh, I was going to put a coffee timer up, wasn't I? A coffee counter. Alright, Mr. Atmay, the night of the murder, speak. I forgot this guy was even in the courtroom. We're all ears. As you wish, Sir Prosecutor. You're back and you are because I has money to get it, but there's they are in cash form. Oh no. Yeah, you can't just roll it up and shove it through the USB slot and upload the money to the internet, sadly. I was stealing the urn as Master Mask, just as I announced I would. I don't think this was him. There's no way that fucking nose fits in that mask. No way. Not without a great deal of pain. This is someone else. This is someone that he has as an accomplice. Someone who would have access to a spare uniform, but he did actually find and take Ron's original, not uniform, disguise. He took his original disguise after the Tear of Emanon heist and he showed up. Ron switched clothes to fool people at the scene and left them in a plastic bin, and then Luke Atmay found the clothes. So he has the uniform, we know that. So he could have given this to somebody else. Oh, it could be a prosthetic nose, yes. He could be pulling a false Sherlock Holmes here, where he just puts like fake noses on and stuff to disguise himself. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured Master Mask was the same time as the murder. It seems the main point of the discussion will be this photo of the crime scene. Everything else up until now is all part of his plan. There has to be a secret to this picture as well. I mean, there's the fact that there's the stain on the floor, and the box doesn't seem to have paint on it. That's the thing that's making me wonder, but the paint could be at the back, because it's only along the base. So it could be at the back where we can't see it because of his arm. It could be back here somewhere. He could be holding the box upside down, or on its side, or whatever. Secret to the picture. I mean, we know that there's no brooch, but he says that he left it behind at the scene to help frame Master Mask, which became part of his convoluted plan to be caught out in a fake lie, which I thought was rather weird, but the more I thought about it after the stream, I realised it was very clever. He had to look like he was putting up a fight, and that he had a flimsy story, because he's not trying to get away with it. He wanted to be caught as Master Mask, so that he could get off a murder charge. And at the same time, he must have had that all planned out ahead of time. It's very premeditated, because he couldn't have just had somebody at 1 o'clock stealing the thing, right? He couldn't have had that. He had to have set that up ahead of time, which means he knew he needed an alibi for murder. Even the great Master Mask cannot be in 2 places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive. Hold it! Unfortunately, Mr. Atmay, we still have to do your cross-examination. A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool. Got very... got chills then thinking about Franziska von Karma. Oh. I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick. What? The only thing that full of it is his alibi. I was stealing the urn as Master Mask just as I announced. So this photograph is the proof, correct? Indeed it is. And the man in the photo is certainly wearing a mask. That is why I am called Masque de Masque. The Mask of Masks. Masque. But, conveniently, that also means that there is no way to tell who this really is. What do you mean? Judge, we've been down this road before. How many times have we tried people in costume in this game series? And we've literally been like, you can't see the face, you fucking fool. Objection! Huh. Are you saying that this is not in fact Luke Atmay? That it could be an accomplice dressed up as Master Mask to create an alibi? Oh, what an interesting idea. Yeah, the judge is just the worst. He really is. Are you saying that I, Lone Wolf Luke, had an accomplice? We can come back to that. Let's just move it along a little. If Luke Atmay was at the KB security during the murder, then the Master Mask in this picture has to be a fake. Then there really was an accomplice, but right now I have no idea who it was. I don't have any idea right now either. Baseless objections are just what this guy wants. There's got to be another way, and I'm going to find it. More than enough time to prepare, the job was pathetically easy. You see, the thing is, the only other person in this case at all that we have come across right now, apart from the prosecutor, is Desi Delight. And I have... oh, and I guess Adrian Andrews. Maybe. I don't want it to be her. And then there's Larry, come to think of it. It could be fucking Larry. Fucking Larry! Now, we already know he recovered the wallet at 1 o'clock. It's not going to be. I don't want it to be Adrian. I really don't. Could be Desi. Either one of these two is the accomplice. They have to be. Can't be anybody else. And she knows how to slip into a costume to commit a crime. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at some point. That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right? Indeed. There was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. How would he have known, though? I mean, it was a hunch, like, oh, there's another art exhibit. I guess he's gonna be there. He could have been getting out ahead of him. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target. I see, you truly are evil, aren't you? Yes, evil is what I am. Hey, Nick, isn't there something odd about this? Nanny? Detective Atme was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain a perfect ace detective persona. Yes, this has been the other thing. You know what? That's true. It's kind of odd. Maybe he set somebody else up to steal it so that he could catch them. And be like, look, I caught Master Mas, but then he got sidetracked. He would have been there, though, if that was the whole plan. He wouldn't have been killing Cain Bullard. Motive is a little fuzzy here. We don't know what his motive would be for murder. Once we know that, things will start to fall into place. Photograph contains no words, but in this case one turned out to be my witness. So by photograph you mean this piece of evidence here, is that correct? Indeed it is. That it is. That is it. It is that. That. There. That one. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed the crime. When you think about it, it's really odd. You say that almost as if you had this picture taken on purpose. Yes, he did. He was simply caught by the very camera that he had set up. We all have days like that. I know. I'm forever setting cameras up and then getting caught by them. Like, oh, again? Ah, Jesus. Indeed, it turned out that there was no such thing as the perfect crime after all. Fucking bullshit, though. I mean, why would you be caught by the camera that you set up? That's just nonsense. Life is truly an ironic thing. A sad blue melody. Looks like I'd better gather more information for now. If he's truly the killer, there's got to be something phony in that photo. This is the thing, we have to figure out this photograph. The time at which the camera captured Master Mask was the same as the murder. Actually, though, I guess the fact that the brooch isn't there, and the original story was, oh, the reason that was there is because it got ripped off the costume and, you know, thrown away because they struggled, and then now we know that's not possible because he was the guy doing it. But then he said he did that to just add spice to the whole story. The time at which the camera captured Master Mask was the same as the murder. About the camera that took this photograph. Oh, come now. It's all too clear what you're thinking, huh? You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, don't you? I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lordly Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lordly Taylor's staff that printed that picture's data. It's unfortunate, but unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered. I see. Better find something else that could be suspicious. So the date stamp isn't wrong. So this alibi is false. It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullard at KB Security. But I'm not really spotting anything unusual. There are two possibilities. Either Master Mask in this photo is a fake, or the photo itself is. What do we think is wrong with this picture? Other than the fact that there's no brooch. The paint stain on the floor. That's from like 10 days ago or whatever. I mean, the thing is as well, this doesn't show a date. But the date was on the security log. That's probably not the thing. The pink paint on the floor. Adrian Andrews said that she got butterfingers and everything fell all over the place, and she dropped the box into the paint as the paint can fell, and then she picked the box up, but the box opened. Well, when she opened the box, all the pieces came tumbling out because it was already broken anyway. She just didn't know the urn wasn't broken. And then she put it back together herself, but she put it back together correct way round, and then put it back in the box, which is why the box has paint on it and why the urn itself has bits of paint all over. They're all in odd places based on, you know, the actual shape. So it's not like the urn was in one piece when it was broken, if you look. Like, the paint goes up to the edge of some of the pieces and then it doesn't go over onto the next piece. So it was that all tracks. Adrian dropped the urn 2 weeks ago. She also knocked over some paint. The wooden box had paint all over it. And then when she picked it up, she heard the rattle. Pieces tumbled out and fell into the paint as well. The brooch, found in the shadow of Amy Faye's statue, looks like it was torn off some clothing. So that does have signs of being ripped off and thrown to one side, as though it was part of the whole attempt to make it look like Luke Atmay had actually struggled with Master Mask and got knocked out, as was the story he gave us originally that we pulled apart. I feel like when you saw the location before the theft, there was something in the way since you didn't see the pink paint until afterwards. Yeah, the statue of Amy Faye was there and it shouldn't have moved because apparently the statue got knocked to one side in the struggle. But if there was no struggle, it wouldn't have gotten knocked to one side. We didn't see the pink paint the first day we went down there pre-heist because the statue was sitting over the dried paint stain. That had arrived a few days before and was perfect for Adrian Andrews to cover up the mess that she'd made. So it does beg the question why the statue is moved. Unless the statue wasn't there at all. This picture could have been taken 2 weeks ago. This could have been Luke Atmay 2 weeks ago, dressed up as Mask de Mask. In the spare costume that he confiscated a year ago at the first heist. But how do we point that out? What do we need to point that out against? For stealing the urn as Master Mask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. The photograph contains no words, but in any case, it turned out to be my one witness. The time, well, that's not in dispute, was the same as that of the murder. I mean, again, that's really weird. Why would he make it a 1 AM timestamp, though? This is very puzzling. Very puzzling. I mean, we know he's full of shit, we just have to prove it with what we have. And it's complete speculation. I mean, how do we know? Because look, the warehouse camera data said it went off once at 1 AM on the night of the crime. If that matches that, then we can't dispute the time. And why would it be that time anyway if he took it weeks ago, before the statue was there? After the paint was spilled, but before the statue arrived. And then we know that the shot of Master Damask striking a pose, well, the brooch is missing. Now that could have been ripped off in the KB security office during the fight. And then he took it with him. I changed from a podcast alert to a tabbed away alert today, trying to focus on starting some work, and this track of the OST is a bit too distracting. Yeah, it is. If you need to be elsewhere, I do appreciate if you're going to lurk, but, you know, don't let me distract you from whatever you're doing. You get on with what you need to do. Broken and repaired by Adrian Andrews 2 weeks ago, replaced in its box and kept out of sight. When Adrian dropped the urns box 2 weeks ago, she also knocked over some paint. Still has the paint stains on it. Carried into the basement warehouse the day of the crime. Moved again that night. So that was actually there just the day of the crime. And then moved there that night. It was moved by Luke at me, because it wasn't there when he took the security camera photo. There was no scuffle to move it, so there's no reason he would move it. He would have realised from the photo something's blocking the paint stain. And it no longer, the crime scene no longer matches his photo that he pre-prepared before. Just need some background soothing noise to work without getting too fidgety, and the streams are usually calm enough to help with that. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the soundtrack to this game is pretty jumpy. Yeah, there's lots of bing ba bung ba bung ba bung kind of stuff going on. Might be one of those moments in game when you gotta press stuff again. Yeah, but you know what happens every time I do that? The game crashes so much, you know, especially when I get things wrong. Oh, I'm gonna save it. Thank you for reminding me, actually. That's a really good idea. Yeah, I should save it just in case the game crashes. Yeah. So I was stealing the urn as Master Damask. So, if this is the case, there was no accomplice. He just went back and stole the urn. And the picture is from ages ago that he set up to try to catch Master Damask. But why wouldn't that costume have a brooch on it? Because Ron's costume doesn't have it because he has lost it. Did he just not... Did he keep that from his original costume and Luke's costume didn't have it? Probably. Was the one missing piece he needed. Could be. Had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. Let's just see what... Actually, what did he say about all this again? Let's just reread this, because it's all fallen out of my head now, trying to think this out. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point. That's right, 20 days ago, if not mistaken. You sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch. Indeed, there was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target. Truly you are evil. Evil is what I am. Isn't there something odd about this? Detective Atme was always proud of an ace detective skills. If the urn was stolen while he was the only one watching it, you'd have no way to maintain a perfect ace detective persona. That's true. It's kind of odd. See, when we have those little moments where they're like, oh, that seems strange, that makes you think that's something you should present something against. You know? The photograph. So, this is the one I think we need to present the photograph. Or do we present the statue? It still calls into question, why would he have the photograph set up ready to go? Maybe he just needed to fabricate evidence that he was there, but then when he came to catch him, he could then say, look, here's also a picture. This game had me scream, what do you want? Sometimes, yeah, it does. Okay, well, look, let's just try this. This evidence clearly contradicts that statement, Your Honor. Oh no, guys. My computer's making funny noises. Oh no, it's crashed. Oh, I should reload. Quickly, stop the crash. Whew. Saved. Good. Always save your games, guys. Better reload. The noises the computer were making were strangely like groaning noises with "you fucking idiot" in the middle of it, and I was like, oh shit. Let me try instead. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Very unstable today. Very unstable. Yeah. Stealing the owner's master mask as I announced I would. See, this one is where we have to point out that he had an accomplice. I just had a horrible thought. What if the picture shows Adrian Andrews on the day she broke the urn? Maybe that's how she broke it. It doesn't happen the way that she said it did. She broke it when she was fake stealing it for him so that they could take a picture. Maybe she thought it was a publicity stunt. No. Suck. I'm gonna try this. We're gonna go through this again. It all comes back to this photograph. We have to dispute this. The man in the photo is wearing a mask. That's why I'm called Master Mask. Conveniently, there's no reason to know it was you. Who would it be? Does he have an accomplice? What an interesting idea. You were saying that I would have an accomplice, so I named the accomplice. This Master Mask in the picture has to be a fake. You had an accomplice. Now remember you've said that, Mr. Tribulations, because there's no going back. If you're making baseless claims, I'll treat you to a penalty myself. We're gonna get a face full of coffee. That penalty is probably boiling hot too. Who is it, Mr. Tribulations? Who was the accomplice? It was this person. That's just weak. Huh. That's quite the prank you're trying to pull. Do you have any evidence that this person is in fact the accomplice? Well... The aura. The aura that this person has around them is... You're going to judge somebody by their aura. You'd be right up there as the #1 suspect, Mr. Wright. Oh no. I need to probably defragment my computer or something, you guys, because, oh, it's crashing all the time lately. I feel like pressing the photo statement will give the option maybe to point something out. I've pressed all the statements, though, and this is the only one that gives me anything to actually do. Okay, do we have an accomplice? This is the only one that gives me an actual choice of going further. The Master Mask in this picture has to be a fake. You had an accomplice. No ring in the photo? That's a good point, but I would imagine he takes it off because there's gloves. I mean, he wears gloves as well, but he wouldn't be so silly as to leave his, his ring on. If he's going to dress for someone else, he would have taken it off, I would imagine. Plus, we've got nothing to point to as the ring. But we've got to get the person right first, you know? Don't know, your brain. It's worth pointing anything and everything out. You're making baseless claims, blah, 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 blah. Who was the accomplice? Well, the only other person in this case is going to be the wife. But she really hates criminals. So why would she even take part in this? That makes no sense. That's gone pear-shaped. Okay. Alright. More than enough time to prepare. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at some point, that's right. Lordly Taylor, 10 days before the heist. See, this one here, they have a little conversation afterwards, as though they've come to some revelation. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right? Indeed, there was no reason I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal a target. You were evil. See, the fact that the music stops and then they have this conversation, it's like, this is important. Isn't there something odd about this? He prides himself on his ace detective skills. If the home was stolen from Lordly Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona. That's kind of odd. Yeah, because this is the only case where he's done this, where he's actually been at the scene of the potential crime before the mask shows up. So what would we push against that, I wonder? Himself, maybe? An ace detective? Music didn't stop. Okay. Yeah, this is very obscure. There's an obvious thing that the game wants me to do, but it's not very obvious. Can't figure it out. The time at which the camera captured Master Mask was the same time as the murder. Oh, maybe this is the one we need to press with the statue. No. Because we're disputing the time. I mean, the whole... he has an accomplice might just be a red herring. Well... can't be, you know... contesting the photo with the photo seems a bit strange. That. I was just wondering if maybe we point out we can't see paint on the box, but like I've said, the paint could be on the back part of the box. Alright, well let's try presenting the photo against the photo. What do you want from me, game? God damn it! What do you want from me? Oh. Press on this one again and see what happens. By photograph you mean this piece of evidence. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed the crime. Even you understand by now. Lord Latela provided the camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed Cain Bullard unless I had an accomplice. So he even says it. Come on, think long and hard that night. The basement warehouse and the picture that supposedly captures it. Got to be... Oh, right, so we had to press this a second time to get a different dialogue from the first time. I forget that's a thing sometimes. That's really, really weird. Heckin' knew it, yeah. There's something funny about the picture. Right, this is how we do it. We don't just object, we have to do it in the press now. It is, it's very cruel like that sometimes. It's like, no, go through them all again. What? Okay, there is something funny, you bet there is. Are you implying that the picture is a fake? You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night before the theft took place, and there's something in the photo that doesn't match my memory of that night. Very well then, let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny? Paint stain. The funny part is right here. Why this? This is a blood stain. Yes, it is a blood stain. It's pink blood. You know, like the kind of pink blood that we saw coming out of the Klingons in the Undiscovered Country. Ah, blood. Now this case is getting interesting. Settle down, Judge. Not exactly. This stain is actually pink paint. Oh, just paint. And peach-coloured at that. From blood to peaches, the judge sure loves going on wild tangents. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is where you consider the layout of the basement. When you consider the layout of the basement warehouse, it turns out that something that should be there is now nowhere to be seen. Well, Mr. Wright, I mean, we should probably also, right in the top corner, where my hand can't reach because it gets swallowed up by the abyss, is... it should be the statue. We should at least see the edge of it, right? This is missing. What's supposed to be in the picture instead of the paint stains? The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following. Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I myself was there that night. Was there the night the theft took place and saw the statue in that spot and holding the sword. If this picture was truly taken on the night, then that statue should have been there. But when I went there the day after the theft, that statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner. Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally. Your Honor, this statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It would take more than an accident to move it that distance. Huh. In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why the statue was moved that night? Can you do it, Nick? Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it? Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you're prepared. You prepared your answer. Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime? I mean, he moved it because he knew it would make his pre-made photo look like shit. The one who moved the statue is none other than Luke Atmey. Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions? It's very simple. I've smoked a whole bag of weed before I came. I mean, inner thoughts, it doesn't matter who moved it. I need to say how it was moved. Judge, so can you tell me who moved it? Yeah, pretty much. That's how it goes. The witness was the one, was the only one in the basement warehouse that night. That is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue? The reason for moving the statue, here's where our battle really begins. Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move that statue? The reason can be found here in this photograph. Look at me. You pretended to be Mask Damask to create an alibi showing you were at Lordly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, then your lie would be exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. That's why you had to move the statue. Single fatal flaw? Interesting theory, but please enlighten us. Just where in this picture does the lie exist? Okay, so it's either going to be the brooch. It won't be the box because the paint was already done. So that box should have paint on it. It's just around the back and we can't see it. So it's either the brooch or the time. His bulge. Look at it. I don't want to look at it. Stop making me look at the bulge. It's so pointy. I don't think that's what the game's getting at, though. Single fatal flaw. I mean, I've already pointed out that there's no statue there. I mean, the reason he moved it is so that it would jive with the photo of this. This is obviously a pre-prepared photo, so it's got to be the date. It shows the time, but not the date stamp. Naturally, the line in this photo is the timestamp. Well, what do you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Luke Atme went to KB Security and murdered Cain Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to be at the Lordly Taylor at that time. Okay, that's been our assertion. That's not proof. What does that have to do with the statue being moved? Remember, if you will, Your Honor, when was the statue placed beside the warehouse door? Well, the statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime, and it was placed there in order to cover up the paint. Exactly. Luke Atme had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim, and so, in order to create an alibi for that time, he took this picture days before the murder took place. Okay, what the? Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse. Ah. So on the day of the crime, Mr. Atme must have been quite nervous. Shock! Hi Luigi, how's it going, my friend? Good to see you. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak. What? A terrible line. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Luke Atme had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make the room match the way it had in this photo. Only people who watch old cartoons would get that metaphor, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I get what it meant, but yeah. Oof. Order, order. Mr. Atme, is this true? Well, he's not going to say yes, is he, you idiot? But one moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this? What's that? The data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera did indeed go off at the night of the crime. Yes, but that's not this picture. That's you moving the statue. You would be in the camera shot. It's true that the camera had been set up by Lordly Taylor's staff. However, the program used to manage that data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data. That's true as well. He did say he wrote the program to do the automatic capture. The camera and equipment and computer that records this stuff is all by KB Security, owned by Lordly Taylor, but he installed a program on it himself. I forgot about that. Order! Order! Mr. Godot, what's the meaning of this? Oh, I was waiting for the spit take. Godot, I warned you about making me wait. Now put down that coffee. My 11th cup. I've promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial, which means I'm still good till the last drop. Oh, I love this guy. However, the defense has a very good point. A good point, so what? We are all but travelers on a road of infinite points. I think he's got his points mixed up with other points. I think he thinks he's Carl Sagan. He's going to start talking about how we're all made of stardust. I'm done. So, you say this photograph was taken ahead of time, and that the statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied. Keep wanting to duck that coffee as it comes in, which is... There we go. Yeah. That it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams. That's very true. No way. Don't fall for that, Your Honor. He's talking about the pointy bulge. Oh no. Hey, Mr. Damask. Yes? If there's no funny business in your actions as Master Damask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So let's hear it. Yes, please. Provide the court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn. I first received a request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box and Zvari! It was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure. No, it's not. So I sent my card 10 days beforehand. Really not. It's worth pennies. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 AM on October the 12th. I think this was just a convenience thing. That's pretty much all stuff we've heard before, isn't it? Yeah, but we will find the truth hidden in the nuggets of the new information he gave us. Witness, you're sure there are no mistakes this time? Barry! That means yes, I think. Very well then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, info nuggies. I'll take a box of a dozen information nuggets, please, and some sweet and sour dip. Yeah, they keep saying 1 AM, but it's, the thing is, even the thing here says around 1 AM. So they are kind of qualifying that it's like as near as damn it 1 AM because it's a minute and a quarter-ish. First received the request from Lordly Taylor 20 days ago. You were asked to guard the urn by Miss Adrian Andrews, is that right? Indeed. It seemed that they had heard of my sparkling reputation. I see Miss Andrews is still attracting the weirdos. You better watch out too, Maya. Oh, she's already got a weirdo you, Nick. The urn was placed in the box and Zvari it was sent to the warehouse. You mean this box? Yes, that pathetic box. Oh Maya, don't listen to him. She made the box. Lady Andrews was especially taken with that urn, and she wouldn't let anyone enter the storeroom, not even me. Huh. Interesting new tidbit. Does that mean there's more? Let's go twice. You mean this box, the pathetic box, taken by the urn, won't let anyone in, not even me? Maybe we have to do all of them before new dialogues show up. I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. So you're sure that you had never seen the urn before? Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. My security was focused entirely on the entrance to the warehouse. However, I, Luke Atmay, let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure. Really. You mean this calling card? That's right. That's it, without a doubt, my calling card. I guess Mr. Delight didn't make this after all. Yes, he did. Of course, because Atmay knew about the emblem. That's true as well. Because he had the spare costume. Making this card authentic would have been child's play for him. I then handled security by myself to ensure that the crime would go smoothly. See, the thing is, Ron probably never intended to steal this urn. I don't think he even had another heist planned yet. So this really was Atmay setting up an alibi for murder. We still don't know exactly why he wants to kill the guy, though. This is the thing. We're charging headlong without knowing motive. We haven't established that yet. Handled security myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. Then no one entered the basement warehouse. Unfortunately, there were many different treasures being taken there. Thus, for a period of approximately 5 days, people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse. At last I held the urn in my hands for the first time, 1 AM. And this is the photo that proves that, huh? The one without the date. Indeed, to be honest, even if a photo was taken, I didn't think it would matter terribly much. Hey Nick, if this photo is a fake, Detective Atmay might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken. That's true. You know, he's been saying that he never saw the urn until that night. If we can prove that he's lying there, we can wrap this up and put a bow on it. I need to take a good hard look at the court record. Just got a notification that a Twitch app is available for LG TV. Ooh, cool. Not a lot to go on, is there? That detective's been covering his tracks. There's only one thing we need to prove in this cross-examination. He took the photo well before the actual night of the crime. Alright then, how do we do that? There's one thing that Atmay stated very clear, that he had never seen the urn before he stole it. We need to prove that he's lying. So what could he possibly have? I mean, he saw probably this. But that's clearly the goal we need to go to, is saying that he's lying about never having seen the urn. What have we got in the court record that could point out that he did potentially see the urn? And that he did so when he stole the urn earlier in the full proceedings, right? This is all stuff for KB security. This has got nothing to do with this. Broken and repaired by Adrian Andrews 2 weeks ago, replaced in its box, kept out of sight. Was it though? Not much to go on in the court record. First received the request from Lordly Taylor. The urn was placed in a box and sent to the warehouse. I was unable to see for myself. Let's try this one again now, actually, this second one. You mean this box, the pathetic box? It was especially taken with the urn. She wouldn't let anyone enter the storeroom, not even me. Interesting new tidbit. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, how did he get into the storeroom the first time when he took this picture? Unable to see the urn for myself on the day of the crime. So you're sure you'd never seen the urn before? Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. The security was focused entirely on the entrance to the warehouse. However, Ayalu Cat may let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers. It's a really weird thing that he's said there. Extremely valuable treasure. Sent his card, this one, that's right. It's without a doubt my calling card. Didn't make it after all. Knew about the logo, so it would be child's play. Handled security myself to ensure the crime would go smoothly. Then no one entered the basement warehouse. Unfortunately, there were many different treasures being taken there. Thus, for a period of approximately 5 days, people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse. Held it in his hands for the first time at 1 AM. How are we going to prove that that's bullshit, though? Held it for the first time. I'd love to look at the rest of the fucking court record, the camera data. Yeah, I'd love to actually see it, you know, read every bit of it. I mean, I guess we can just use the treasure exhibit. He would have seen the urn. Couldn't have not seen this, right? There'd have been pictures up and posters in the actual exhibit upstairs. Unable to see the urn for myself before the day of the crime. Let's just make sure it's that one. Yep. Got yourself a coffee to try and improve stuff. Now all you need is a visor, and you too can be like Godot. Alright. Boom. Bullshit. No, it doesn't. Unable to see the urn for myself to the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days before. Then handled security by myself to ensure that the crime would go smoothly and held the urn in his hand. This photo proves that, huh? To be honest, even if a photo was taken, I didn't think it would matter terribly much. If this photo is a fake, Detective Atme might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken. That's true. You know, he's been saying that he never saw the urn until that night. We can prove he's lying there, we can wrap this up and put a bow on it. A good look at the court record. Not a lot to go on, is there? That detective's been covering his tracks. There's only one thing we need to prove in this cross-examination. He took this photo well before the night of the crime, so that's what we're actually needing to prove. How do we prove that he took the photo well before the crime? One thing that Atme stated very clearly, he'd never seen the urn before he stole it. We need to prove he's lying. Well, I just tried. What if he saw it while she was repairing it? He might have been watching when she broke it. this is the one we need to contest first. Actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. So that's what it just told us we need to figure out first. We need to prove that he saw it before. That's a lie. And then we can work into that lie and then prove that he also maybe stole it like days before. No, it doesn't go with that. Man. What do we have that can break this apart? I mean, I've already tried going with that. There. Take good care of the speckled urn. He saw it. He saw it being put back together. This is how we prove it. Take good care of the speckled urn. It didn't have paint on it until Adrian Andrews broke it. Get wrecked. Mr. Atmay, if you really are Mask de Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? But of course. Is there a problem with that calling card? Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Mask de Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled here surely refers to the pink pattern on the sacred urn. Yes, that is true. But so what? Truth be told, there's no way that Master Mask could have known about this pattern. Yes. Awesome. What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. Paint stains? And those stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordly Taylor. I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Trite. The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error, or should I say, an error-prone human. Oh, look at her face. She's just, oh, no. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn. Ugh, you can't be serious. I am serious. Don't call me you can't be. Oh, I mean Shirley. I mean, you didn't say Shirley. Okay, never mind. And yet, this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means Detective Atmay had seen the urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself? Alright, that did it. He's broken. Nick, I think it's still a little early for a victory pose. Ha ha! What? Okay. Huh? Damn, that guy guzzled that last coffee down quick. Shit. Huh. It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days. Conviction, you say? Don't get the judge excited. Convictions? Oh, I'm all about those. Yesterday we all decided unanimously that this man was Master Mask, and now we're calling him a murderer. You don't think we're being a tad fickle? No, he can be both. He did actually steal the urn. He also killed the guy. Well, that's a good point. No, wait, don't fall for that too, Your Honor. You say that Luke Atme was the one who killed Cain Bullard? Let me ask you this. Why would he do that? What's his motive? An excellent point. Motive, Mr. Wright, motive. Might you merry murderous motive... what? Might you, my merry murderous motive manifest? What? That's such a confusing sentence. Nick, he's getting his second wind. If he prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on Rhonda Light as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for murder. Yeah, 50 grams worth of strength of motive, yes. The only one with any motive we've seen is Rhonda Light. Isn't that right, Detective? Indeed, according to my own research, the boy's motive is clear. Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were. I could. Absolutely. Yes. In one go. I'd be honored to, Sir Old Timer. They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. Okay, oh, he's going to... I thought it was going to ask me, like, what was his motive and give me multiple choices. I, Luke Atme, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Cain Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Rhonda Light. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harboured a grudge against Mr. Delight for this betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Master Mask. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Cain Bullard. Truly a tragedy. The victim, Cain Bullard, blackmailed the defendant. This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. A handwritten test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter. Okay, so that's answered that. That's not a fabrication designed to lure Ron out. Blackmail letter updated, written by Bullard. Very well, Mr. Wright, begin your cross-examination. Oh joy. No point of contact with the victim whatsoever, okay. And who in the world is going to prove that? I will. After doing a thorough background check of the Detective Atme and Cain Bullard, we were unable to find any links between them. It's all in the report. Perhaps they were connected through their work. They were both involved in security. Nope. That was blunt. In any case, the only one with a motive was Mr. Delight. Cain Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask and simply mistook who he was. Mistook? That's right, mistook, from the Old Norse mistaka, meaning to take in error. That wasn't what I meant. I know what the word means. Just who did the victim mistake Master Mask to be? Why, the answer is obvious. Rhonda Light, of course. Boy, I'd like to wipe that smug look off of this guy's face. Press harder. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Master Mask? Don't you already know that? Zvari! Take a look at the newspaper. Oh, that's the famous Tear of Emanon, the magnificent jewel. That photo was a magnificent... that photo shows a magnificent detective as well, does it not? Furthermore, it also shows an ugly guard, namely the defendant. The defendant? The victim clearly misread the article and... Zvari! He got the wrong impression. The impression that this ugly security guard was in fact Master Mask. I see. There's nothing in the article pointing to the fact that is the actual person in this photo. Question mark? That was an unusually reasonable deduction. No, it wasn't. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter. You mean this blackmail letter right here? It says bring $50,000. And the handwriting is without a doubt the victim's. There's no mistake, we have an official report to prove it. But I don't see an address on this letter anywhere. An addressee, yeah, an addressee. This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's apartment, and Mr. Delight did show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there is no addressee is irrelevant. I wonder though. What's up, Nick? I just had a thought. What if the blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight? See, I was already onto this earlier. Whoa! Do you have the evidence of that? For some reason I just can't shake the feeling. There's something not quite right about the blackmail letter. Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied? And again, it was Mr. Bullard who harboured a grudge against Delight for his betrayal. The betrayal? What do you mean by that? Oh my, I was certain you were already aware. Zvari! KB Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies. Since it was a security team chief, I stole data from the company. Cain Bullard had yet to forgive young Mr. Delight, which is why he sent him the letter upon mistakenly believing he was the thief. Here is a file that we discovered in Mr. Bullard's office. Evidence that Mr. Bullard was receiving money through blackmail. However, isn't this a bit odd? Why did the defendant pay Mr. Bullard the money? Even though he wasn't actually masked the mask, on that point, there was an unfortunate bit of chance. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he has masked the mask. Do you really think that story is going to hold up? That assertion is not merely my own, I'm afraid. What do you mean? I have here a memo from Ron Delight's wife, Desiree Delight. New evidence. Ronnie thinks he's masked the mask. Don't you feel sorry for him? Please don't think too badly of him. Huh. Well, Mr. Trite. Was he trying to act like Ms. Delight just now? I thought it was actually pretty convincing. That's why Mr. Delight saw fit to kill King Bullard. Now that's just your imagination talking. Come now, Sir Lawyer. I'm afraid imagination isn't the right word for it. This is a deduction, the result of carefully applied reasoning. Can we hear that careful reasoning for ourselves? It's a long story and better saved for another time. Very well, another time. Judge no, tell him to tell it. Those so-called long stories aren't usually that long, at least not in my experience. So you're going to try to connect Detective Atmay to Mr. Bullard, right? Yeah, that's right. Hopefully it won't require surgery either. In that case, you'll have to talk about the blackmail. That's true. Was the blackmail letter really intended for Ron? Since we don't have enough information, you should press him for more testimony. Maybe we'll be able to shake some contradictions loose that way. So, what could connect him is the whole, I'll take the red diamond you received the other day instead. Because he's already said earlier on that he, has that red diamond. Let's try pressing again and see if we get new dialogue, because that's been tripping us up lately. Who in the world is going to prove that? I will. Doing a background check, we were unable to find a link between them. Perhaps they were connected through the work. No, that was blunt in any case. Oh, Mr. Delight, blah blah blah. I thought the diamond was blue. No, it's a red diamond. Yeah. Cain Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask, simply mistook who he was. The Old Norse Mistaka, no. Yes, this isn't new either. Why would the victim mistake him? Don't you know that already? This is the bit I don't get. Take a look at the newspaper. Oh, I get it. He mistook the article headline, "The Gem and the Thief." He must have thought, oh, well, since the detective's there, the other guy must be the thief, right? Oh, that's my guy. Like, well, if the paper already knew, he's not exposing shit. That's a stupid assertion. Yeah. Magnificent detective. It also shows an ugly guard, namely the defendant. The victim clearly misread the article and Zvari got the wrong impression. That's just weak. The ugly security guard was in fact Master Mask. That is not a reasonable deduction. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote and sent the blackmail letter to Rhonda Light. That blackmail letter there, bring 50 grand. The handwriting is without a doubt the victim's. There's no mistake, we have an official to prove it. Don't see an addressee on the letter. Discovered in his apartment and did show up at the designated time and place, which only means that he saw it beforehand and went. There's no addressee is irrelevant. So what if... Well, let's just have a look further down first. Ron's own testimony to us states that from Damask's second heist he was stealing as directed by blackmail letters. So he's been receiving these blackmail letters repeatedly. And this file they were talking about, they think this is blackmail payments received. But I don't think it is. This is a ledger of, you know, what he got for selling these items. Or what he expected to get anyway. There we go. So it is the blackmail letter we have to point to with that statement. Kind of figured it was. Because we have to point out the whole, if this was meant for Rhonda Light, why does it talk about a red diamond that you received? Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Acme? Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's all right. When you said that this letter was addressed to Rhonda Light, I couldn't help but notice a major contradiction. Contradiction? I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that. You want to talk, Triclops. At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior? Indeed, time to man up, Mr. Wright. Oh, Judge, chill. Show us the contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter. Oh. How do I show about the red diamond? Because in the previous version of this profile, it did state that he returned the thing and got a red jewel as a reward, and now it's not there. So is there something else that talks about that? I don't know what we're supposed to point to now. This wasn't going the way I thought it would. I thought it was just going to automatically go through the whole, hey, by the way, it says about a red diamond. Because that's the contradiction. His statement that we objected to was like, you know, that this was a blackmail letter addressed to Ron Delight, or intended for him. When the final section, if you don't, I'll take the red diamond you received the other day instead, is the contradiction. It's also the link. This wasn't intended for Ron, this was intended for Luke. So maybe we just present that. Huh. A little 2-1 punch like that wouldn't even faze me. I think you mean 1-2 punch? Mr. Wright. Try thinking things through a little more before finding fault with others. Damn. Alright, I'm going to take that one. That was me actually trying to be smart. I felt that punch, Your Honor. Anyway, let's try reading the blackmail letter one more time. There's got to be something off about it somewhere. Please proceed with your testimony. Alright, I'm going to save that, and we'll take that hit this time, because I've save scummed a lot lately. That wasn't me just testing, that was me actually thinking that was the way to do it. So, what do we have to point out? I'm going to be that.